Okay, folks, here we go.
Guys, here we go. Let's have a good show.
1B, stand by. Okay,
Yeah.
Yacht, stand.
Yeah,
Take it.
just get at midfield.
Okay,
Just go
take
right
it.
now.
Okay,
Go to camera
well,
3.
can
3.
you
Go to the gate. Perfect.
you.
Just like that.
I'll just go ahead.
Yeah, graphics 2 is going to be up for the first. Okay.
Take it.
Go right now. Go to camera 3. Go. Yep.
Can you
Go to the gate. Perfect. Just like that. No music.
I'm going to hand to Q, Sophie.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
On radio in the Canal Zone.
All right, guys, mic check.
Go ready.
Okay, Ricky, mic.
Yep, I am ready.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Willie, mic check.
Yep, let's go.
1B, stand by.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live.
Okay, and go for it, guys.
All right, guys, here we are. It is Friday the 13th. Ooh, Friday the 13th. And it is, of course, we're now in T-minus time, right? Because T-minus several days, but not more than a couple of weeks for the Canal Zone reunion. So, but nonetheless, that's down the road. Right now, it is happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. It's 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and of course, it's 7 p.m. Canal Zone time. So, Ricky, what's going on, man? Happy Friday, brother.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Thank you, like always, for joining us and being part of our podcast. As you know, Willie and I, both born and raised in the Canal Zone. Very important since we're running this Canal Zone podcast, a podcast completely dedicated to the Panama Canal and the Canal Zone way of life. So happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club, our first toast. Thank you, everybody,
Salute.
for joining us.
Indeed.
Salute.
Yes.
Willie,
man.
tonight I'm going with the Irish coffee. Last
Oh,
week
look at
I
you.
got a little bit sleepy, like our guest mentioned.
Okay. Well, we don't want that.
We don't want that. So we got the coffee going. So, guys, tonight is going to be a great show. It's going to be our reunion podcast. So we're going to talk all about reunion stuff. So we got a great show lined up. Willie and I will be talking to you guys about all the events, pricing,
Absolutely.
how to get there, pictures,
And
experiences.
we will also flash back to a couple of older reunions, previous reunions. You know, the
Yes.
reunion's been going on a long time. I
Long
wasn't
time.
aware of the reunion until probably mid 80s, in all honesty. That I had no idea that there was even such a thing. And my first reunion I attended was in Tampa in 1986, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is
That was my first one too, Willie. My first one
Right
too,
on.
86. Yeah. That was in Tampa. That was quite the crazy one. That's the one that they ran out of booze.
Yes, it
The
sure did.
hotel actually ran out of booze Friday
something.
night.
Another,
Oh my God.
another notch there in the
In our
Zonian
yes,
lore,
in
right?
our Zonian lore, yes. But anyway, guys, thank you. Hey, listen, we have a great show. We would love to do a lot of viewer participation. So, guys, let's talk reunion.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel in particular. SCN Canal Zone is the YouTube channel. YouTube.com/at SCN Canal Zone. And definitely, get the notifications, but subscribe for sure. And yeah, you know what? Let's talk reunion, guys, because the reunion is around the corner, and there's going to be a lot of fun events. Of course, that reunion is just a great time to see old friends. Obviously, we see a lot of old friends now, online. Which, in fact, we got to say hello to some of our friends here. Chris, how you doing, man? Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Chris Jeffries.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for chiming in. Leaf Solene from Panama. So this guy's been on quite the Panama trip, man. He's
like a
having
month there.
Yeah, he's having a good time, sending a lot of pictures. So yeah, we definitely have to upload those and take a look at that. Maybe after the reunion, we'll go through some Panama stuff there. But good to see you, Rich. Good to see you back in Texas. All right, right on,
Right on,
friends
Richard.
in Texas there. So yeah, man. Listen, reunions have been around for a long, long time. It's a great time. Again, you get to catch up with old friends. Old teachers, football coaches, baseball coaches, all that great stuff. So it really does. It is really a good time, something that you definitely don't want to miss. And then, of course, we always also have that one in Panama now in January, which is also a lot of fun, and looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
But really
You're
excited about
always going to
Orlando.
be surprised at the reunion. You're always going to find a crying moment because of somebody you haven't seen or you haven't spoken to or just found out about. I mean, that's what happens at the reunion.
Yeah, look at Leaf talking about that '86 reunion. He had to drive to Publix to get more booze. Yeah, no doubt,
That was
man.
quite the famous reunion, '86. For
Yeah,
all you guys that went there, let us know if you were there or not.
month
Yeah.
and a half. Look at you. 3 weeks. Like, good for you, man. Heck yeah, enjoy that vacation, Papa. That's a great time. If you're gonna spend 2 months in anywhere,
Hey,
not
Danny,
at
right
home, do
on.
it in Panama for sure. Danny, how are you, man? Good to see you. Check in and saying hello. Yeah, indeed. Hello to you as well. Glad you're chiming in. Looking forward to this. By the way, let us know in the chat if you're going to the reunion. Want to see who all is going to be attending. Again, it's going to be a fun time. The society, as we've learned, it is quite the undertaking to put this
Hmm.
reunion together. It is something they work on a lot, put a lot of hours into it, and so well
Yeah, that's gonna
deserved
pay off
kudos,
soon. Yep.
for doing what they do, because it is an amazing experience. That you can honestly say that that's the anchor of the whole year of Canal Zone living, Canal Zone memories, and reminiscing. You know, the reunion is the one place. I've always said that the reunion, the most common phrase, or every sentence starts with "Do you remember?" Hey, do you remember? Hey, do you remember? And I mean, you probably say that 1,000 times at a reunion, because
Hmm.
that's what it's all about, man. It's not about how we doing right now. It's about, do you remember? And,
Yeah,
and,
and,
and
and everybody, wear your name tags. We are getting older. It's important.
yes,
You don't want to get caught. Don't you remember me? It's better than, well, do you remember me? Look at the name. Oh yeah, Peter. I haven't seen you. Right.
yeah,
So make sure
no,
you
for
wear your
sure,
name
for sure.
tags
Chris is in
for sure.
Kentucky, right on. Okay, so in northern Kentucky, so in Cincinnati, I would maybe assume, is if you're in northern Kentucky, typically Cincinnati is the airport that they run out of there. But no,
Really,
right on. Hopefully,
Cincinnati's
Chris will
next
be at the
to
reunion.
Kentucky? No way.
Yeah, I want to pick your brain, Chris, on unfortunately on that Air India incident, because that was pretty sad, especially when we get to see that on video and whatnot. But I definitely want to pick your brain
Oh
on what
yeah, no,
happened
I've avoided it. I don't want to watch that.
there. But
Well, yeah, but so reunion. Back to our reunion talk, guys. Is I understand it started in the '50s. I could be wrong. Could be even earlier, but I know from the '50s it's been going on. And as David told us last week, it was in the Clearwater area,
yep,
and they've always had it at really nice hotels. I mean, it's always and it's truly the glue that keeps the Canal Zone society together. And it has been for many, 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 many years.
hmm
Nowadays, with social media and all the other stuff going around, there's a lot more things we can do to get together as a community. But up until then, it was just the Canal Zone Society, the Panama Canal Society,
right, yeah.
that kept us together,
Yeah,
and
no, without a doubt, it was.
yeah.
They've done a wonderful job. They've done this for many, many years. A lot of people have worked their way through that organization. They've all contributed immensely, and the last few years with Bill McLaughlin having his experience, as an event planner anyway, was, I think, instrumental
Oh,
in doing
he's
a lot of things
huge
that they
for
did
that.
there
Yes.
to especially to update some of the processes and things they had going there. But nonetheless, it's always a fantastic time. There's, in addition to this reunion in particular, it's going to be kind of unique in a, I guess, almost in a solemn way, but in a, always we want to make it a celebratory way. But this particular reunion, there's going to be several celebrations of life, and we're going to talk about those here briefly, and so let you guys know when and where they are. Of course, as everybody knows, or most Zonians know, Al Sprague, a just
Icon.
an icon. I mean, if there's a Mount Rushmore of the Canal Zone, he certainly belongs on that one. But unfortunately, he's moved on up to heaven, where we'll see him one day again. But he's entertaining some of the older Zonians up
Oh,
there.
he's entertaining up
Yeah,
there.
yeah. If you heard his stories that he told on our show last year, you know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're having a good time.
there's a lot of stories he's got to get caught up with some people there. So that will be taking place. In fact, let me go ahead and do this, guys. Let me
Yeah, how can we
share a screen here.
reintroduce that show, Willie? We should probably do something where that show comes back on. People can watch it again to see the
Yeah, maybe
3 hours of
it was
him.
3 hours of absolute fantastic Al Sprague, man.
Conversation at his best because he let loose, man. He let loose.
Yeah, I mean, we learned a lot about who Al Sprague is, the story of Al Sprague, and it was pretty cool, man. It
Yeah,
was
I mean,
pretty
the
cool.
art part was maybe 15%. The rest was
Right.
personal, high school, neighborhood,
Yeah.
travesuras, et cetera, et cetera.
Travesuras was the key there for
Yeah.
sure, without a doubt, with that guy. And I mean, it was one story after another, man. And you think, my God, this guy he blazed a trail for Zonians, man, as far as how to be a Zonian at that age when make life fun, enjoy it, and make the best of those opportunities. So nonetheless, let me go ahead and pull this up here so you guys can see it. Bear with me. There it is. Okay, so this is, I just got this from Cassie. I mean, fresh off the press. She just sent this to me. So what we're looking at then with Al is Celebration of Life is July 3rd from 2 to 4 in the afternoon in Shawnee, which is one of the celebration rooms there. Shawnee 1821. I guess that's the numbers to look for. But just look for Shawnee, and obviously there'll be signage there, and there'll certainly be a big crowd. I mean, you can bank on it. There'll be a lot of people there.
Mhm.
Cash bar will be set up in the hall. Hors d'oeuvres will be available, and then so obviously visit that. In addition, of course, Al Sprague. Their booth is open on that day, 10 to 1:30, closed for the celebration of life, and then opens again at 4:30 to 6. Got some cool collections. I saw these the other day, guys. This is really, really cool. Check these out. Coming soon. Chichipate lures. Remember when we had Al on the show, he talked about the lures that he made. And obviously one of the big parts of Al Sprague's life, and it certainly was shown in his paintings, was his love for fishing and his love for the water. Right. And they had their boat was the Pasha, and then now his grandson Alfred is he has his Instagram channel where he's sailing the Pasha, and he's doing a lot of cool things. He's got some shirts which I'm going to show you here in just a second. But these Chichipate lures are again part of that Al Sprague memory and that Al Sprague life, and so there's another great Zonian shirt that that one will strike up a talking point with people here in the United States, because they'd be like, well, what does that even mean, Chichipate? And you're like, hey, listen, man, that's a
If they can even pronounce it,
right,
Yeah.
So
Chichipati.
yeah, that's the Kapira way. But again, that's something new, and that's part of that Pasha's Perch, which is again his grandson's collection, and also let me backtrack before I get ahead to that one. These right here, these are from Pasha's Perch, and these are some really cool shirts.
Yeah.
These have that Hawaiian shirt look, but a total
That
Panama
Bahama,
flavor to
Tommy
them, a total
Bahamas look.
Al Sprague flavor to them. So definitely check those out as well. But again, Celebration for Life for Al Sprague is on the 3rd of July, 2 to 4 p.m. in Shawnee, 1821. So don't forget about that. But like I said, there's going to be more than one Celebration of Life. Also, a dear friend of ours and a friend of the show also recently passed away. And let me go ahead and pull his screen up here. Bear with me.
That would be Guillermo.
Yes, Guillermo Payne.
Guillermo Payne.
He
was always on our show religiously every Friday.
Yeah.
And
Without a doubt,
the Lord, it was time for him to go.
Yeah. And
So we're going to go celebrate. But you know what? Well, at the end of the day, God, what a way that we're so lucky. When we go, we're celebrated by so many of our friends. And being celebrated at the reunion, that is absolutely perfect.
And whenever you saw Guy at these reunions, there was always people going and saying hello and big hugs and a lot of love for him, for the whole Payne family.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They were definitely in Balboa during my era growing up. The Payne
mine too.
family was front and center. Dad was a police officer, so of course we have that Canal Zone police connection there. Victor and I were in school together since nursery school, and we all the way through high school. And Victor just recently retired from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. I believe it was Orange County here in Orlando, but he was a deputy sheriff. And following Dad's footsteps, in the law enforcement career. But Payne family is a family that's very highly regarded in the Canal Zone, and unfortunately, Guille is no longer with us. But we're going to celebrate that wonderful life, that wonderful smile, and that friend to a lot of Zonians. So that one is going to be on Sunday, July 6th. So at the end of the reunion, immediately following the despedida. Okay, so despedida for you guys that aren't familiar is that going away party, the last hurrah, I guess you can call it, at the reunion, and
It's well
immediately following
attended
that.
too, by the way.
Yeah, it
People
is
stay to
absolutely
the very, very end for that one.
Well, and don't they have the like the 50-50 raffle or do something every year?
Oh, that's why, because they got the big
listen,
raffle.
you walk out of there, and
That's
all of a sudden
not
your
why,
bar tab's
but
paid, and you're like,
that's
okay,
a good reason.
reunion.
Yeah. Hey, whoa, wait. Speaking of bar tabs, let me make sure I bring this in. Listen, if you register for the reunion and you got your name tag, drinks are special price. Check this out: beer $4,
I saw that.
wine $5,
Yep.
mixed drinks $4.75, premium brands, which is what all you guys drink, $5.25. That is dirt cheap. That's yacht club prices.
No kidding, man. That's
So and for the
flashbacks to the back in the day, man.
and for the kids, sodas $2.75, bottled water $2.50. Those are a little high, but $4 beers, come on, $5.25 for premium drinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So make sure you get your name tag, and you'll get your special drink price, and you get 25% on a lot of things like food.
And all it takes is what? Renew that membership to the Pan Canal Society.
Oh, that's right. You
for
got to be
$50.
that one. You got to have the membership, right? The other
Yeah.
one, you have to be a member.
Listen,
to
if
get
you
the
take
name tag.
advantage of the discounts on meals and the drinks, and the pricing at the reunion because of that membership, it more than pays that
Pays
$50.
off, yeah.
And then you still have, of course, you get the awesome Canal record and on all those other great benefits of being a Zonian and recognized as an official Zonian, by renewing that
Let
membership.
me mention, Willie. Now that we're talking about that 25% discount, there's some really good restaurants at the reunion,
Mhm.
and a 25% discount. They got a great steakhouse called A Land Remembered. And I ate there. Good steak. 25% off on your steak. They also have a great Italian place called Cala Bella and Bella's Bar. I also ate there as well. Very good, very good. Now, if you want to do a buffet, and like in the morning, they got the best breakfast buffet. Go check out Cafe Ocelo. Osceola. That's one of those Floridian Indian names that I always get mixed up.
Mhm.
Buffet restaurant, and they also have a sushi place, a taqueria place, and a burger place. So plenty of good restaurants, and remember, 25% discount on all those.
Yeah, there you go, guys. So, a steakhouse like that, and let's not kid ourselves. This is a resort area, so you're not getting McDonald's 99-cent prices.
No, yeah.
But you're getting a great steak, a great meal, great ambiance. You're at the Canal Zone reunion, and suddenly you apply 25% off that. That's a nice savings there. So again, you're there from Thursday to Sunday. You've had a couple of dinners. You've had the discounts with the drinks and everything else. You've more than made back that $50 from that society membership. So it's a no-brainer, guys. And at the end of the day, take all that discount and stuff out of the way. The society does so much for us Zonians to keep this Zonian story going. That help out, man. We're asking for $50. I say the Canal Society is or the Zonian community for that matter. $50
keep that
to
glue
be
together,
involved,
man.
to be part of it, right?
Absolutely.
So definitely think about it. But like I said, guys, the celebration of life for Guille is going to be on Sunday, and then we said there's a third celebration of life, and so the Cicero family, Mark Cicero with his Panama Days story. We've had Larry Cicero on the show. In fact, remember we had all the Ciceros on to talk baseball, and then last year, Larry Cicero was instrumental along with Ray Maston in putting together that Balboa Rams reunion, which is absolutely amazing. Their father passed away a couple of weeks ago. Mom passed away during COVID times, and of course, during that time, there wasn't a lot of celebrations and get-togethers and everything going on. So what they've decided to do is have a celebration of life for the family at this upcoming reunion. So it's going to be held on Friday, the 4th of July, 4 p.m. to 5:30 in Suwannee. Same place where Al Sprague's celebration is the day before. Cash bar, some hors d'oeuvres there as well. And if you have any questions, reach out to any of the Cicero brothers. You can find them on Facebook. If you can't get a hold of them, send me a message. I'll be more than happy to forward it to them. But, they're, again, another great Zonian family and friends of the show as well. But a wonderful family. I didn't know them personally, the parents, but I know, like, when it was announced on Facebook that Mr. Cicero had passed, the outpouring of love and respect was amazing. It very, very I guess significant of what this family was, to the Canal Zone and what they meant to a lot of people. So, stop by and pay your respects. 3 wonderful Zonians that we just want to swing by and pay them those respects and honor them for being great Zonians and helping bring friends to us here in the community, because without all these guys coming to the Canal Zone and doing their thing, we don't have our community of friends to talk to and say hello here on Friday nights and whatnot. So, definitely share that love with them and give them a little bit of love and respect for that, for sure, guys. But nonetheless, let's again talk about reunion. Like I said, we're going to the reunion. It's around the corner. Okay, the dates of the reunion. Let me pull up their yellow pages here, and we can.
Yeah,
share
even
that
though
here
even
real
though
quick.
our friends have passed, it's not going to be a somber thing. It's going to be a
It's a celebration, man.
celebration. We're going
I'm
to
a
have some
big
fun.
fan of that, man. I
Yeah.
love that whole celebration of life concept, because
Me
it
too.
really is a place to, we're going to see them again at some point down the road. But for now, they've went ahead maybe to pave the way for us. But it's
Way
just
to
like
put
what
it.
we do here, and celebrate the Canal Zone. We don't mourn the Canal Zone going away. We celebrate it. We celebrate
We
the fact
celebrate.
that
Yeah, we
we
never
were
say it's
so
going
privileged.
away. It's fading. It's no, we don't.
We
None of
keep it
that.
alive
There's
every
none of that
Friday
is
night if we
happening.
can. That's for sure.
If anything, the Canal Zone Society is even more now. Our
Right.
show, the reunion in Panama, and the numerous pages out there in social media, and all the commissaries, people selling shirts left and right.
Yeah.
So the Canal Zone is alive. The Canal Zone spirit, the Canal Zonian, that's not dying anytime soon.
No, we do what we can to keep it alive here.
Keep it
Some
alive, yeah.
other folks do it as well, and of course that canalzone.me project we're working on to keep that community moving along is also wonderful. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it comes back down to what you see on the chat there from Jim Bradley, that him and Al were close friends in the 60s when they moved to Croton Street in Balboa. 60 years of friendship, and that's what this really is. It's I always say that one of the most amazing things, or shows us how amazing our community is when you take an outsider to a reunion, and they're just
I've done that.
blown away
Yeah,
by
they're blown away.
the
Yeah.
sense of love and community that everybody has, and the friendships that are all around. It just
And one of the
it
things
blows
they
them away,
always
man.
say, yeah, one of the things, sorry, Willie, one of the things they always say is, I wish we had this.
Yes, 100%. My wife does. My wife's from Tampa. Okay, we live here in Tampa, so you would think her graduating class, you'd have a lot of people around here, and it's compared to what we have a bigger community in Tampa than it seems like these guys do.
And these guys do,
in a
right.
sense, man. But it really is. It's so much fun to see that, and it's a good feeling. You know what? You feel like we were privileged, man. We were.
I know. We
Either
try to get away from
handpicked, or
that,
we
but it's
just
true,
we hit the
man.
lottery of life in that
upbringing.
sense. Yeah,
absolutely.
Man.
So
very,
how do you
very
pronounce
grateful,
that?
and always
Willie?
celebrate it.
Osceola.
Yes,
Osceola.
Osceola.
How the heck you get Osceola from that? But okay, thank you very
Yeah,
much. I appreciate
it.
that.
Yep. And then Daniel's asking if Jim, if you knew his uncle David Kolklisher. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Okay, I was very close friend of Randy. Okay, interesting. Oh, look at that. Right on. Very cool. That's cool, man. That's such an amazing thing. That was one of the things that amazed me about that first reunion back in 1986. You're welcome, Mark. Absolutely, my pleasure. Was going to the reunion at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Tampa, and I remember walking by one of the ballrooms, and it was like, Balboa High School class of 1952 or 56, I guess it was, class of 86. And I was like, wow, that's amazing, and because, to me in 1986, I'm looking at the immediate Canal Zone that I grew up in. And
Hey, they were all
obviously,
there.
yeah, man. So that's when you really learn what the true meaning of a Zonian was, that a lot of these people that were at those reunions at that time, they're living in the States. A lot of them were in Florida at the time. Obviously, most of them seem to have retired and moved to Florida, but we still had a large Zonian community in the zone. It wasn't officially over yet, right? It was wait until '99. So there was a lot of them down there. So my reality was still of the Canal Zone itself. I still lived down there. It was still Balboa. It was still Barnaby Street. It wasn't these parts of Panama now, or as they call it now, El Distrito de Ancon, because that's what that area is. So for me, the reunion was I wouldn't say it was hard to wrap my head around it, but it was really cool. It was just nothing that I ever expected. I had no idea what to expect here, what was going to happen, and it really got me becoming a Zonian, right? In the sense that I was thinking like a Zonian. Now I was aware that I was
outside of the
unique
Canal
and
Zone.
different. Yes, and
How
so
to behave outside the Canal Zone.
right, and it's never stopped, and it's only growing more and more, and certainly this show has helped to make it even that much more. Where my life revolves around Zonians a lot now, and I love it. I love every week Ricky and I get together in the middle of the week and start talking about some things that we'll bring up on the show, and come across old pictures, and so it's even brought us closer as Zonians
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
yeah. Willie and I used to be absolute political enemies. Now we're on the same side almost on
100%.
everything. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Mhm.
My first reunion I tell was in 1965. Yeah, no, I heard that they even further than that they've gone back.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of the 1955 reunion and stuff.
1965. Wow, I was just
Really,
2
really
years
cool.
old back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, the reunions are very, very, very special activity event within our community, and we're very, very grateful. Well, let's keep talking reunion,
Yeah, absolutely. So
guys.
let me go ahead and
Yes,
pull up some stuff here so we can, again, continue to
keep
talk
letting
about this. So
everybody
this
know
is
what's
the
going on.
schedule that they have there, right? And again, it starts on July 2nd all the way through Sunday, the 6th of July.
Yeah.
The 4th of July is on a Friday. So that's kind of nice. You only need to take 1 or 2 days off, and you can cover your whole reunion because you've got that holiday built in, which is nice there. It is again in Orlando. The hotel is the Shingle Creek Resort. They
And
do still have rooms. I'm not sure.
yeah, no, Kelly says they still do, but you got to go through the reunion. Through the
Okay.
through the Panama Canal Society. You got to call them up, and they still have rooms, guys. So the single king room and the double queen room are at 157.50, tax included, guys. If you remember. So that's what the going rate is on those pretty decent sized rooms. Now you can get bigger rooms as well, and you'll be paying a little bit more. But you do have option. They got one called the Executive Suite Parlor, which is the one I stayed at last year, and that is you pay for one room, 157, and you pay for the Executive Suite Parlor, 281.25. You can actually get two rooms to that parlor. So basically, the number you need to keep in mind is 157.50 a night for single king or double.
Which
Double
for that
queen.
resort is a great price. Let me
Oh,
tell you.
excellent price.
That's a
Excellent
fantastic.
price.
There again,
Yes.
that alone, if you're spending 3 nights there, your $50 annual reunion membership is exceeded on your hotel room savings alone.
Correct. I mean, it's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah, 100%.
We love that.
100%.
Yeah.
So,
and yeah.
Pero, sorry. So the website is up there, pancanalsociety.org. Visit those guys. If you need to certainly you should be visiting there to get your membership renewed. If you need information on the reunion, it's there as well. Look up their yellow pages under the reunion tab. That's where you're going to find this information here. And then, of course, if you're still interested in going and you want to try and get that Pan Canal Society rate, you got to go do it through the society. So make sure you visit the website there. But a couple other things here on this front page of this society reunion, 2025 reunion is called Stars, Stripes, and Summer Nights. Right on. Cool name there. coordinator Bill McLaughlin makes sense. This guy is an event coordinator extraordinaire. So obviously he puts on these events. And let me tell you what, guys, for what it's worth, this is a big, big event. When you see what goes on in that place, the Shingle Creek Resort is a convention style hotel, right? It's a place where you have events, and the amount of Zonian things going on in different rooms and different public rooms and facilities, that's no small undertaking, man. And this is as big time as any trucking convention or bankers convention or anything else, man. And that's all done with these volunteers that we have here at the society, man. So
speaking of that, we've had our our reunion with like AA conventions as well.
yeah, that's always the funniest story about the reunions now. If there's ever a strange interaction between Americans and Zonians, that would be it, man. Because you got these poor people trying to go somewhere and celebrate their sobriety, and we're celebrating
And they run into our
inebriation
reunion
for 4 days, man.
when everybody's walking around with big jugs full of booze.
Oh my God, we're two-fisting them, man. And oh my God, that is the
amazing.
most ironic two.
And we get along. There's no issue either. They even show up to some of our events.
They do, man. And God Almighty, I hope we didn't drive any of them back to drinking, man. But geez, that's wow. Yeah, that's a great story, man. Because whoever came up with that was like, oops, you obviously didn't know who the Panama Canal Society members are, man. Because Zonians can put it down, man.
Oh yeah.
So, but anyway, again, guys, if you see somebody that's a member of the Pan Canal Society, a volunteer, make sure you thank them, fist bump, buy them a drink or something, because this reunion is something they start working on in September. Okay, They are working on this all year long, and so kudos to these guys for what they're doing there. And here's quite a few of them that are listed on here that we can might as well, give them some props, man.
Give them some props.
Carl Orvis is the new president of society, and he's the on-site reunion coordinator. So, if you're saying hello to Carl and he has to walk away, don't get upset. He's busy. He's the on-site reunion coordinator. So, cut the man some slack.
But he's pretty good at attending to everybody as well. That's probably why he's president.
Carl's always been that guy, man. He can work a crowd. He's a great guy. He's a great president.
Good. Well, that's exactly what he does. He knows how to work the crowd.
Yeah, for sure. And then of course these other logistics coordinators, Mikey Young, David Dahlstrom. We know David Dahlstrom. He's somewhat familiar to you guys here on the show.
Quite the celebrity.
Bosco Hoyt, Mr. Cruz. That guy, man, I'll tell you what, that Bosco Hoyt gets on some cruise ships, man. He does about 2 or 3 a year, it seems.
On. He's living it up.
Yeah, good for you, Bosco. Absolutely. Bill Lane and Ted Coffer. Absolutely. Ted, how you doing? Ted, the Atlantic Sider. Ted, I know he's still waiting for us to put that Atlantic show on, which, by the way, guys, next week, okay, June 20th, we're going to have our Atlantic Side correspondent, Ven Couturier, joining us, and we're going to start learning about the other side, as it was always
absolutely. Hopefully he does well, because we would love to have a co-host.
He will. I'm sure
from the Atlantic side.
Listen, every time that he chimes in, he's got some great historical facts and figures and numbers. So he is quite familiar with the Atlantic side. I think he'll be fantastic at this.
Excellent.
I think it's going to be.
Love to have.
I'm looking forward to it because I want to learn about the society.
I
want
to
learn
know about the Atlantic
side.
side. For sure. All of us do. We all want to learn how it was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and bring them into the loop, man. Bring them into the Friday night happy hour, because they had their yacht club down there too. It was probably not as good as ours, I'm sure, but nonetheless. But anyway, a couple other people: hotel reservations, lodging persons, Betty Ledoux and Debbie Lane, which again, you may want to try and get in touch with them if you want to attend the reunion and are still looking for that reunion rate. Make sure you do that. But when you call or chime in or whatever the case, at least have your membership, up to date.
But
that's the first thing they're going to ask.
You can still get it that day. Don't think you cannot get it. You might pay an extra $10 for it or so.
Well worth
but
it.
You can still get it.
Yep, absolutely. They've got the information of the society office. Kathy Malin and Penny Canamas are working that.
Canamas is also an Atlantic Sider.
Okay, right on. There you go. We got some Atlantic Side representation.
There's a lot of them there.
Well done. Absolutely. The annual meeting, the All Pan Canal Society members meeting, and that's an actual thing, guys. Remember that this is a legit society that's registered as an official society. And we have a membership. That's what you pay your $50 for.
And bylaws too.
Exactly. And so if there's ever, where somebody's like, man, I wish they would do this, or I don't like when they do this. Well, hey, get involved, attend that meeting. Speak your
Oh,
mind,
let's
say
speak
what
about
you.
that meeting, Willie.
Yeah. Well, you
That
take it
meeting
serious.
is,
This is a great organization for us, and
yeah,
you as a member take part in that. That's part of
take
what
part,
membership
right.
is.
On
You know.
Friday, July 4th, the annual meeting. Now that's for all members. Now all society members are encouraged to attend. The doors open. Willie will be there talking on behalf of our podcast. At doors open at 9 a.m. The meeting starts at 9:30. You guys want to make it, especially if you have something you want to add, because they do have open mic at the end, and it's really interesting. I went last year, and believe me, I was uh, maybe entertained is not the right word, but I was focused, involved. It was a great meeting, like they call it, and
Yeah.
it's not boring and it's engaging. So
No.
try to make it on Friday.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, it's a. There's so much that the society does. We think of the reunion first and foremost because obviously that's a big component of what the society does, but they do so much more. Dave Dahlstrom, our historian here on the channel, is also the liaison for anything legislative, right? And
Yep.
so he is our connection to Congress and up to Washington D.C. And as we learned last year, for example, there was some legislation pending or some ruling pending regarding the remember the pension and something to do with the pension and finally it was signed into law or whatever the case was, which was obviously very favorable to retired Zonians. So things like that are what the society does whenever there's changes to any of your maybe retirement benefits or pensions or whatever the case is. The society, and you go to their website, and then on their
Hmm.
record as well, they put that information out there, so they keep us informed, they represent us, in a legislative fashion. And so they do more than just put together a book and collect memories and do a reunion. They actually do serve a purpose. A lot of our parents that are retired and you know depend on some of these benefits. It's nice to have an organization that kind of has their back a little bit and
It
keeps them in the loop and
informs.
helps them out. So there's a lot that they do, and again, they're representing us and keeping this story alive. And all they're asking in return is to become a member, get active, volunteer, help out, and put $50 on the table,
$50.
which
Yeah.
again is a bargain. Okay, you're talking a dollar a week. Okay, that's pretty damn good to be a member of the Pan Canal
Hmm.
Society. Is a dollar a week. So
And it feels good too, Willie, when
it
you're a member,
does.
because you
It
get that
does. We are
magazine. You
playing a
feel part
role
of a
in
society.
preserving
Yeah,
our legacy.
yeah, yeah. It
You
feels
know.
good. It feels good, guys.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah,
So. But there's a golf tournament as well. Dave Bishop is in charge of that golf tournament.
that's
That's a lot
Thursday
of
though.
fun, guys. That's a
Yeah,
big tournament. I didn't fare too well health wise with it last year.
because it
Uh,
is hot. So make sure you wear your hats.
yeah,
Very
hydrate,
important, and
hydrate,
hydrate.
hydrate.
Well,
There's
let's
a
talk
lot
a
of
little. Yeah, go ahead.
there's a lot
Sorry.
of Floridians here on the West Coast, and we play a lot of golf here. But when you live on the coast, guys, it is way different than living in Central Florida. Central Florida, there's no breeze, there's no wind there, except at 4 in the afternoon when it's all thunderstorms. But it is hot as heck in 4th of July weekend. So hydrate, sunscreen, put a hat on, or whatever the case is. And again, I'll be helping the Ciceros out with the celebration of life. We'll be
On
getting
Thursday. But
stuff set up.
Willie, we should mention that golf course, which I hope everybody's going to participate, is a championship golf course
Yes, it
designed
is.
by Arnold Palmer. So it's no
Mhm.
like little Mickey Mouse.
No. These guys,
No,
they're
it's yeah,
yeah. You ain't kidding,
world
Ricky. That
class.
that they know how to do a golf tournament. They do it right. It's a beautiful golf course, well maintained and everything. It's a good
Hmm.
time. A lot of old Zonians there, and golf was big in the zone. That's always been something
Yep.
that tradition has continued. There's no doubt about it because
Yeah.
many of the kids of the Zonian golfers that we knew down there, their kids now play golf, and it's pretty cool, man. Golf has a good Zonian following for sure.
Good Sonian following, yes. But those of you that are not going to be playing golf, just know there's a 13,000 square foot spa where it features 9 treatment rooms, state of the art fitness center, guys. So if you're not
Nice.
playing golf and you want to get a little exercise or a massage or a steam bath, 13,000 square foot spa
Right
at
on.
the
There you go.
at that resort.
Heck yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, Vern, I'll do your best. I know you will, dude. You listen. You always have had some great stories that you throw in here in the chats and stuff. So I know you will. You entertain us with just a short chat. So I can't imagine what having you in person and telling us those stories. And again, I I went to the Atlantic side to play baseball and to play football. That was
Yeah.
it.
Well,
I never even been to the free zone. I mean, I really was sheltered to the Pacific side my entire life down, other than that first year when I grew up in Coco Solo. But
yeah. And
I don't think I was
Vern,
even a year old before we left.
yeah, Vern, let me tell you, when you're up here and you're talking about the Canal Zone, it's real simple. Let me tell you, Willie's been trying to convince me to do a political science show. And Vern, I'll tell you, I can't do it. I'm too chicken. I'm too scared. I can't do it. Because I really, but when you talk Canal Zone, real simple, easy to podcast when you're talking, Canal Zone subject.
Yeah, no, without a
Sorry
doubt.
about that, Willie. I
No,
truly,
it's
I'm just
true.
so scared to go up there and talk about
I,
politics,
I know. I
outside of
just,
our Canal Zone community, man.
I love doing this stuff, man. I love public speaking. I used to be in an organization called Toastmasters, which is
Yeah.
a great public speaking organization. I'm a sales trainer, so I stand up in front of groups all the time. In fact,
Yeah.
we didn't get a whole lot of stuff done this week because we had a new hire class that started on Monday, and so I got a bunch of people in my office, a bunch of people in a couple other offices that I got to train virtually. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
But
get in front of a camera all damn day, and
yeah, well,
and
Vern will do good because, like I
Yeah,
said,
he
Vern,
will.
when it's about the Canal Zone, it's easy, man. It really is. It really is.
Once you
guys.
get on here, but listen, Ricky joined this show because he came on with Coach Cotton for a Balboa Rams chat,
Yeah, that's what
and
it
he
was. A little rap
absolutely
chat.
loved it. He's like, "Well,
Yeah.
you kidding me, man? Yeah, I want to
That
do
was
more
so
of this."
easy talking about the
Yeah.
Rams and growing up in Balboa. I thought, well,
Yeah.
and then the second show we talked about our town, so that was even easier and
Right.
all the things that we did in Balboa and stuff like that. Well, anyways, let's keep going with our show.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, by the way, I don't even know what number we were on. We used to count what show we were on. I think we're like maybe in our 70s now.
I would think so. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
certainly passed the 52. We know we've passed
Yeah, we
that
done
year
passed
mark.
the 52. Yeah, a lot.
You
In
know,
February,
but-
we passed that.
And you know what? It's funny, Vern. We won't call you an expert, not yet. But remember when we first started with Dave Dahlstrom, he was our historian, non-historian, because he said the same thing. He goes, "Hey, I'm not a historian."
Yeah,
But then every month he's coming on doing nothing but history. He's researching history. He's teaching us history. I kind of think you checked all the boxes for being a historian.
Oh, and he's got the courage. Not that he didn't have it, but you can tell he's way more comfortable. And
yeah, he does a
But,
great
yeah.
job, and it's always very informative. And so I don't doubt that the same thing will happen here, where you'll be telling us what the Atlantic side was like, what you guys did, how you lived the life, where you did it, and so soon enough you'll accept that expert moniker because you will be our Atlantic side expert, and
Excellent.
I'm looking forward to
I
it.
love
So
it. I'm looking
good
forward to
times.
it too, man.
We'll get together at some point next week, Vern, and get some stuff set up and ready to do this.
Tuesday,
I'm
Thursday.
excited for it, man.
Yeah,
Right
Tuesday,
on,
Thursday
so-
when we do our show prep.
Check out Keith Jordan, Coach. How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. Wow, that's a blast from the past here, man. I haven't seen Keith in probably since the Zonian days, back in the Zonian VHS days and all that.
Keith,
stuff.
oh, I remember Keith Jordan. Of course,
Yeah,
he's
that's
my
awesome.
age.
Good to hear.
All right, Keith.
Yeah. No, Keith is Ralphie's age.
Ralphie's age. Then which of the
Yes.
Jordans that I know from Los Rios?
Yeah, they were, unless he had older siblings. But I knew him. He was. I'm 99% sure it was class of '87. Absolutely. So yeah, it'll be fun. It's gonna be fun, Baron. I promise you, we're gonna have a blast. It's gonna be a lot of fun. for
Look,
sure.
we got cousins here. This is why I love this show, man. People show up, they haven't seen each other. Hey, you're my cousin. Whatever.
That's half the fun here. Is
Yeah,
the,
that's
the
half
chats,
the fun. Right,
for
right,
sure.
right. So, guys, other things going on at the reunion that I really love that I want to share with you guys is they have a clubhouse at the reunion called the Reunion Clubhouse, and it's open every day from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's a good place to go and get away from the hustle and bustle of the reunion and just sit down with some friends and eat like clubhouse type food. But what is really cool about it is they have a happy hour
Oh, thank you.
from 4
Appreciate
to
you,
5
Doc.
p.m. They have a happy hour. Oh, right on, Dodd. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot. Speaking of happy hours, they have a happy hour there for Cuba Libres, $2 Cuba Libres, guys, at the Reunion Clubhouse.
Nice. Heck yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to pull it up there and see if I could find the information on on the clubhouse. And that is kind of, if you're at the reunion and people are showing up and say, hey, where's so and so? They said they're coming in today. Go walk around the clubhouse area. You'll run into them there. That is kind of like the crossing point for a lot of people. Right around that area. There's also the museum usually has their stuff set up there. There's also the auction, right?
Yeah, exhibits and auctions. Yes.
So,
and guys, just because my name is there, you don't have to auction. Offer $1 more so I don't get it. Willie, last year I lost like 3 or 4 things that I put money on by all my best friends bidding like $1 more.
well, and that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was your brother doing it too.
My
wasn't
brother and DF a whole bunch of them. All the architectural books and the plans, they all got them, man. Jesus.
And then Ricky's like, well, maybe they're getting them for me for Christmas. And then Christmas came and
Yeah,
went.
it was great.
Nah.
Nah.
So I guess it wasn't. That was funny. Yeah, I remember that. He comes back. He goes, man, I think I'm going to win that. And all of a sudden he goes, can you believe it? So-and-so outbid me by $1.
Yeah, 4 people. So, anyways, guys, do go by the Canal Zone Museum collection. You will see an amazing amount of incredible Canal Zone artifacts, and just like I say, you can find me. I'm into architecture. You can find plans, original plans.
Yeah.
That's just one of a kind, guys.
Yeah.
So make sure you go by there. They will be open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah,
They start open at 1 on Thursday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Friday, I guess they meant 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. again. Here it says 1 a.m., but I doubt it's 1 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah, so 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Canal Zone Museum collection. Check it out. You're going to be you're going to be surprised, put it that way. From art to recipe cooking books. And,
so the golf, I didn't realize, I forgot. I thought the golf tournament was on Friday. It usually is
Thursday,
on Friday.
45th Chagres Invitational. And that starts early. Check-in's 8 a.m., guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you see also the information on the museum collection, the Panama Canal Museum collection. If you're not familiar with these guys, check them out online. They have an absolutely amazing collection of the spillways that are digitized. It's really cool. We've done a couple of episodes in the past back to the spillway where we go revisit because they digitize them in really, really, high definition. And it's awesome to read those and see friends and family and that were featured because that was our community newspaper, right? And so when they're interviewing, let's say leadership or pilots or police officer involved in something, it was always someone that you knew, and if it involved kids, it was typically a friend of yours, somebody you knew in school.
Always.
And that was a lot of fun to watch the TV guide and what was on the movies in 1976.
That's your favorite part.
Yeah, I do. I love that because that's very nostalgic, and think about this. Back in the 70s, we're growing up in a zone. We didn't have internet. You didn't have mobile devices. You didn't have any of those things. So you know what? If you weren't out playing or doing something with friends, you were watching Channel 8, SCN TV, and it was cool. We watched all those shows, and it was always so frustrating that you'd watch a show for that season and it ends, and next year they wouldn't bring it back on.
Yeah, Hubert and Sean, you're right, Keith. Those are the ones I grew up with. Yeah, Keith real popular tonight, Willie. Everybody misses Keith, man. You're a great guy. Much love to you, cuz. His cousin is here, Don Dupree.
He's a good guy, man.
Keith is what's up, bro? Hola, Keith. Yeah. Jim, look, everybody knows everyone in the zone. Keith, you made up your mind about going to the reunion? Unbelievable, man. I just love it. And my best friend here, I've gotten great memorabilia at the museum auction.
It's true.
You have.
And you know what's funny about that? And remember, we had the folks from the museum on one night, and we had a good laugh about this because it's almost, you buy things at the reunion from the museum collection, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, you donate them. And who do you donate them to?
Right back.
Museum.
Yeah.
So in essence, you're really just renting it. It's what you're doing. But it helps raise funds for the museum, so it's great. But But they said that happens quite a bit, where you'll buy something and you have it for a while, and then you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to donate this back to the museum.
Yeah, because you don't want to throw it away or put it
Exactly.
somewhere where it'll never be enjoyed. So why not give it back? Let somebody else.
And the only
enjoy
place
for
you
it.
know it's going to be enjoyed is in the Zonian community.
Correct,
So
within the Zonians.
absolutely.
But you know what, Willie? I have been on eBay, and there's a lot of Canal Zone
yeah.
stuff on there, man, that
No
people
kidding.
are selling there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it happens quite a bit, and it helps that we have, Panama and the Canal is always in the news, so people do take an interest in that, and as they start hearing, inevitably, if anybody starts looking up issues with Panama Canal and the United States and China or whatever goes on, it never fails that it somewhere ends up referencing the era that the United States ran the canal. And when you start looking at that, you end up looking at Zonians anyway. And so it just makes sense that you suddenly take this interest in the Canal Zone.
Yeah. Well, Willie, also, everybody has talked to us, that outside the Canal Zone we talked about, and we brought them on our show or not, that we've interviewed, they've all said that the younger generation of Panama has taken a tremendous interest in the history of the Canal Zone. So hang on to your stuff. They just like baseball cards might go up in price, supply and demand of
no kidding. That's true. I
of
didn't
our
think of it that
history.
way.
Yeah,
But you're
'cause-
right. And unfortunately, back in that era, just recently, when the United States got out, a lot of you think about what had just transpired prior to that. The Cold War had just ended, and that was 50 years of putting all our effort into. It was a race between the United States and the Soviet Union to buy influence around the world. And so we took care of everybody. And so when that ended, we decided to pull back everywhere. Unfortunately, we pulled back out of Panama a lot. And China saw that vacuum and jumped in and took advantage of it. And one of the things that they did, there was an effort there to really erase the American memory out of that place.
Yes.
And
When
so,
I went home in 21 to go see my mom after the pandemic. I mean, you can ask my mom. Well, that's the first thing I told her. I go, what is going on here, man? It's like you guys have erased our
That whole
presence
legacy.
here. Our legacy.
Yeah.
I went to the where you watch the ships go through,
Right.
and they had a video, and
called
there
the
was
Canal.
absolutely nothing on that video about. Now they've changed it about the canals. The American experience in the canal in Panama.
Right.
None, zero, nada.
So to your point that there's a new surge in interest in the Canal Zone, it's because it's kind of been opened up again, right? Because they made a concerted effort to say, hey, who? America who? Canal Zone who? No, it's us, China. We're your friend. We're the ones that are going to put you in a lot of damn debt and take over your canal. I mean, no, we're going to help you. But
but yes, the amount of interest in our history is, and believe it or not, a lot of people like from Venezuela, outside of Panama or the Canal Zone, are the ones that are taking up, like the guy from the railroad, straight up from Panama, the guy from all the bases and stuff. He's from Venezuela, So it's all these
and
different
Noyer
people.
Garcia that joined us from Panama Canal Railroad history. He grew up in Panama, and his mom. Remember, he told us his mom worked out at Barro, Colorado at the island.
That's right. That's right. That was a great show. God, we
right,
have him back on.
And so he remembers driving, past Gaylord Highway there and watching the train as a child, and fascination has turned into a really, really informative, I guess a historical perspective of that railroad.
Yeah, well, that
It's
railroad
really
is
cool what he
historical. I was the first transcontinental railroad ever.
It was
50 miles, but still, we got number one.
Yeah, listen, it wasn't about distance. It was about which ocean to what ocean it connected.
Correct.
We did it before anybody else.
Right on, Panama. Hey, toast to that. We haven't toasted in a while. This is a
salute to
happy
that.
hour. Hey, everybody out there. This is
Salute
happy
to
hour.
the Canal Zone,
Salute.
to Panama, and to being the chosen place.
I think I found my drink, Willie. The Irish coffees, which is Bailey's and coffee and a little bit of Kahlua.
There you go. There you go.
Gets me all jacked up.
Gets y'all jacked up, and you don't fall asleep on the show. Ricky was telling me he was falling asleep.
I know. Last
Man,
week I was like,
ain't that boring. That doesn't work too well. But,
Leafy caught it. Freaking falling asleep, man.
It's funny. Like I work for a freight brokerage firm, and I tell people that the one thing you never ever want to hear is get a phone call from someone going to say, "Where's my freight?" That's a big no. Well, when you're doing a podcast or a live stream, The last thing you ever want to hear from the audience is, "Hey, you're falling asleep." Because
Well, Leafy will be the one that would be the
well,
one that would
yes,
inform you guys.
yeah.
So yeah, Steve. I'm not gonna make the reunion this year, but Willie is. He is planning on probably doing something from a room or not. But we are gonna do a show during the reunion like we did last year.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure stuff out. I haven't really, in all honesty, like I said, we've got a huge new hire class at work, so I've been extremely busy, but you know, haven't really gotten the feedback that says, hey, let's do a nice live gig or something. So probably gonna do last year we did a show, Ricky and I did, and of course we had that whole incident with the bar that they claimed that
We
we had
lied our
permission
way
and we
all the
didn't
way
have permission
through.
or whatever. So we're definitely not going to do that because I don't want to, in the middle of a show, all of a sudden have somebody come and want to kick us out. So I don't know. I'll figure something out. I may am just doing it from a room. I know that the Ciceros were gracious enough to offer me the room that they have there. I may or may not do that again, depending on what we do. But um, perhaps next year we can plan on doing something maybe a little bigger, a live gig with the society or something. For what it's worth, in January we will be doing a live show at the Canal Zone reunion. I've already talked to Alex Reyes and those folks about it. They actually reached out to us and wanted us to do it. So do that. But we will have something one way or the other, whether it's from a room, in which case we'll be kind of like what we do right now, where I'm in Tampa and Ricky's in San Francisco anyway. So it won't be any different, but we'll see. One way or the other, we'll definitely keep you guys posted. Obviously, we'll be talking about it every Friday night between now and July 4th anyway. So more to come on that one for sure.
More
But
to
thanks
come
for
for
asking.
sure.
Appreciate it.
Hey guys, we do this show, Kaboom, right? Where we ask you questions about
Kahoot.
the Kahoot. Well, at the reunion on Friday,
Mhm.
between 2 and 3:30, they've got this cultural seminar called Test Your Knowledge of Canal Zone History. Of course, everybody is encouraged to attend and go see how much you guys have learned from our show and see if you guys can take the prize
Mhm.
on testing your knowledge of our Canal Zone
There it
history.
is.
So that's Friday, cultural seminar.
Yeah.
And that'll be on the second level of the convention center.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know what else? What happens right after that, Willie? They have, which is already sold out. Big, it's a great event. It's called a baile panameño. It's a dance class, and
Oh, nice.
it's very well attended. Like I said, they're already sold. They're already sold out.
Wow.
And you go there and you learn a little bit of how to dance. And so yeah, they're gonna have that on Friday, guys.
Yep. And make sure that on Friday also they're gonna have lottery tickets for that Despedida lottery.
Yep, get your
1
lottery
p.m. to
tickets.
2:30, and then again from 3 to 4:30 at the Gatlin Ballroom at the foyer there. So
Yep,
that
yep.
of course again helps raise money for the
Raise
society and
money
whatnot.
to the
But
society. It does very
maybe an
well.
opportunity to pay your bar bill, man, and pay your reunion rate.
Yeah, yeah, no. They say it does that Despedia Larry does well, and also the Saturday night ball does really well.
Mm-hmm.
This year's Saturday night ball is going to be like same as always, except Preto won't be the piano player.
Right.
He's not he wasn't able to make it, and he is being substituted by another band that was supposed to play Thursday night, but now they're playing Saturday night. That band is called Salsumba Orchestra. They play all the good Spanish music, but they're out of Orlando. And if you guys know, Orlando has a huge Panamanian society there.
Yeah.
Not just Zonians, but Panamanians as well. So
Correct.
you can, they got all kinds of companies that sell, all the foods and the morgas. You can
Yeah.
hire them for
There's
all
a big
that kind of
big
stuff.
Panamanian community in Orlando anyway.
Yep, yep. Like Miami.
Yeah. Correct.
Yep.
Correct. So
So
no, good
that's what we
stuff there.
got.
I mean, listen, there's a lot. It's jam packed. You can check it all out at pancanalsociety.org. There's a lot of events going on, a lot of different things to do and see, a lot of opportunities to help out fellow Zonian vendors. If you go into that, they have
Oh
that vendor room,
yes,
man, and
the
there's
vendor
always some
rooms.
great stuff there. A lot of friends of the Canal Zone, as we just saw. That Cassie just shared with us. The Al Sprague collection. Of course, they have all the great paintings and stuff. And in all honesty, guys, art is one of those considered an investment, right?
It sure
Art is
is.
one
Yeah.
of those things that really does appreciate and and you can really make something out of art. And so now you have somebody that is a renowned and iconic artist in Panama. And as we all know, when it comes to art, obviously when the artist has passed, there's a lot more value to that artwork now, because now you have, you're obviously limited now. You won't have any other Al Sprague creations. So, you know, get out there and get yourself some Al Sprague paintings. If they're not available there, obviously you can always go to panamaart.com and you can find them there. But there's some great opportunities there. And you know, listen, if you want to make an investment in an art that you know is going to appreciate in value, this would be one of them to do it. And don't ask for a Zonian discount. That's, don't be a chump, man. It's another Zonian, man. They're trying to make money too. But there's a lot of great vendors out there.
Yeah, that's true, Willie. That's funny.
We've got the Balboa Trading Company with Ruthie MacArthur, puts out some great product. This is one of her Turvis tumblers there. I'm not on the screen, sorry. But my Mola tumbler here that I always got to snag off of my wife to put on for the show. Flag. On Fridays, I tell her, hey, on Fridays, let me use this thing, man, so I can showcase it on the show. Yeah, but she loves it, man. So
the vendor rooms are open every day, guys.
They are
from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., just like the museum collection.
Oh, and let me tell you what, man, that vendor room used to be somewhat small. That thing is gigantic now, man. There's a lot of people selling Zonian stuff, a lot of Zonians, and so you might have a friend or classmate or family member that's out there, throwing their Zonian wares. Give them some love, man, and buy a couple of things off of them, man. Help them be successful at the reunion.
For sure. Yeah, they got all the sauces will be there. There's all the key rings. They got everything. It's clothes
shirts for sure. It's cool to see all the Zonian shirts, man. And there's some creative ones now. Some, back in the day it was always just the T-shirt, the Panama Beer logo or the Canal Zone seal. Of the Canal
that was logo. It. Correct. That was it. No,
now you've got some creativity out there, some cool stuff out there. So check it out. Get a bunch of stuff. Give some patronage to some Zonians, and you have some cool things to wear for the next year.
Yeah. So. A little epiphany. Why don't we do it that now that Steve mentioned the woohoo show in Panama in January? Why don't we have whoever's at the reunion in the Canal Zone to come on our show and talk about like Steve? We had him on the show before. Maybe have him come on for a brief and then talk about what his show was about.
That's to me, that's kind of what one of the things, if you talk about how you envision a live gig like that at a reunion, obviously it's not going to be like what we do here where we sit at a chair behind a camera. And, last year it was very impromptu. It was, for all intents and purposes, we set it up a few hours prior and just brought out
hours, minutes,
so, but to do a live gig, I have a couple of I have that Kahoot game, of course, that we do on here. It would be fun to do one of those, which really you could do it in that live setting because you're not going to have that lag, right? And people play with their phone, so they scan the QR code, you send it out, and everybody has it there. And we're doing it live at the same time they're doing. You'll have a big screen where
that'll be good.
The information
especially when they're there.
I'll tell you what I would love to do, and I do have a Jeopardy style, and I also have a Family Feud style game.
We've been working on that for a while.
And that one at a live gig with two of the graduating classes that are having reunions, like we saw in here just a moment ago that Steve was mentioning, the class of 75. So imagine having the class of 75 against maybe the class of 85. 5 versus 5
81. Oh no, that's not next year. Oh no, 81 is next year.
Well, for 81 against 86, and or something 86. To that effect. Yeah. That to me would be a really fun live gig type show. And to your point, have some of the guests that have been on in the year, come up on stage and chat and say hello and maybe continue or a follow up to their story.
Because truly, we don't really have set what we're going to do. We're still working through it.
Steve, right. And that's. I know that I've in the past I've followed some local. Like, for example, morning shows, there's a local morning show I follow a lot. And every so often when they have those live gigs, you kind of say, okay, do we want to kind of match something like that? And, the Zone's unique, though. It's a little bit different. And, for example, one of those team games, and you bring 8 people on stage, 4 for each team to do a Family Feud or a Jeopardy style game would be great because everybody in the audience could relate. Everybody knows who these guys are. And, you'd have people rooting. Maybe have a BHS against CHS.
That'd be
That
cool.
would be a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Hey,
know?
Willie, listen, we're getting through the show. We're already an hour and we haven't even got into birthdays. Wow, we are fucking Radio
We didn't even
Bemba
keep the
tonight.
schedule.
Hey, but
Hey,
listen, guys, it has been fun. Everybody's been commenting. We're having a great time. But let's really
Yeah.
get into birthday. That's okay with
Sure,
you,
of
Willie?
course.
Because you know
Absolutely.
how people go out of their way to send us their birthday,
Yeah,
so we want to
definitely.
celebrate it with them. So can we just jump right into it? You want to do an
Absolutely. No, please
intro?
do. That would be fun. Absolutely.
Hey Sheila, nice to see you on our show once again.
Yep,
Hey,
it's
okay,
fun.
let's start our birthdays with my beautiful niece, Chicky Little. If you guys know her, she is the most beautiful human being, mother of two now, and that's Elaine Peterson's and Mike Little's daughter. Happy birthday, Chicky.
Right on.
So we're going to move on. John Props from my class of 81 out of Veraguas and my center, my senior year. Happy birthday to you, John. The beautiful Marjorie Akers, St. Mary's alumni. Happy birthday to her. Her mom was a big figure in the Canal Zone. Gregory Funk, also out of 81. He was a musician that came to our school out of LA. What I mean by musician was that he knew how to play the French horn, the trumpet, the drums, everything, right? Coming out of good guy, Gregory Funk. And
So
then
I got a funny story to tell you. You just reminded me of something.
all
So
right, go
the
for it.
other
Go
night
for it.
we were talking, and I forget. I think somehow we started talking about music and the Canal's own bands and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you mentioned somebody uh, that was one of the best left-handed drummers ever. And so my wife and I were listening at cracking up afterwards. I listened to Ricky coming up with this, and we're like, "What is a left-handed drummer? You drum with both hands. What the hell is that?" So I looked it up, and it turns out you were 100% on point. That it has to do with your feet, right?
Well, you know, you play the hi hat with your right hand, and then you hit with your left hand the one time.
Okay.
Left hand is the other way. You do the hi hat with your left hand.
Ah,
And then you roll this way instead of
because I
that
thought, mira este tipo inventando
way.
una
Inventando.
vaina,
No,
man.
Johnny Pierce. Johnny Pierce. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
From the Atlantic side, was in till today. He's still a musician. You know, a professional musician. Teaching and writing and that kind
Sure.
of stuff. But yeah, he was our left hand drummer.
That's
The only
funny.
one that I've ever seen play. By
Yeah,
the way.
I'd never heard that term, and I'm like, this guy's full of shit, man. Look
No,
what he's
no,
coming
for
up.
real.
Okay, but I looked it up, and it was legit.
Yeah,
the
they
guy-
set it up the other way. All right, let's keep going. Let's get going there. Celia Martin. I don't know if that's related to Richard, but she's a Zonian from Ancon. So happy birthday to Celia Martin. Moving on with our Zonian birthday. Thank you very much, also, guys, for setting up. Jeannie Bassett,
Mhm.
happy birthday. Pedro Vanga, happy birthday.
Birthday,
Bob
Pedro.
Dackness,
Yeah,
I didn't
Bob
screw that
Dackness.
up. Happy birthday. Murray MacArthur from the great MacArthur family. Happy birthday to you, Murray. Great kid out of Los Rios.
Great baseball player.
Great baseball player. Just a good kid. And his sister went to high school with me, and she's also beautiful. Doctor, by the way. Mark Shaw. Happy birthday, Mark.
Right on.
Wrong Lythe.
Ron
is that-
Lytle.
Lytle. Yeah, I saw
Lytle.
the.
He's a classmate of my class of '86. By the way, in the very near future, we may be showcasing his daughter's golf exploits because she's also quite the golfer.
Oh,
A
that's
little
two
younger
of them
than
now.
Sheila Guerrero's, but yes. So
That's two
Yeah, right
Zonian
on.
daughters that are in the
Heck
golf
yeah.
world.
yeah,
Dan Norman, happy birthday, Mr. Dan.
Right on,
And to
Dan.
my little sister's best friend, and I mean, she is a sweetheart, Gina Rios.
yeah.
She lives down in LA. Happy birthday. She's married to a music executive, Universal
How about
music
that?
executive. So I'm always like, Gina, man, set up all the Zonians
Yeah,
with
right?
record deals, man. What's
Heck
up?
yeah.
George Call, by the way, another great musician out of the Pacific side, but with a lot of Atlantic side connection. His band's actually called Aska.
Yeah.
Atlantic side kicks ass.
That's right.
Is related to Gina. Right on, Gina. Happy birthday. Kelly Partheny's out of class of 81. Happy birthday, Kelly. I think Kelly might have graduated early and graduated the year before. But happy birthday to you, Miss Partheny's. You're a great friend of mine. Mike Munson. Happy birthday, Mr. Munson.
Class of '87.
Class of
He's a
87.
pilot.
Don't-
He pilots boats out from I think Galveston out to the oil wells out in the
Oh,
Gulf.
maybe my buddy John Canzero knows him.
Yeah, maybe.
Nancy T.B. Lear. Everybody loves
Yeah.
Nancy. She's a great Zonian.
Happy birthday,
So happy
Nancy.
to say happy birthday to her, Nancy. Happy birthday, girl. Bridget Yoakum. Heard that name a trillion times. Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Bridget.
Right on.
Speaking of calls, Jennifer Call. Happy birthday, Miss Jennifer.
Yeah.
And of course, happy birthday to the big football family in Panama, Ernie Holland. Happy
Oh,
birthday to the
indeed.
young Ernie.
Yes.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Ernie.
You know,
Sure.
we had his father on, and until today, that's the best show we've had. And
Great
so
show.
right on, that's that my group. And then last but not least, Willie,
Yeah,
take it away.
indeed. It's a friend of the show, a Canal Zone police
A
friend,
father of the show.
and a father of the show indeed, and somebody who has that Zonian legacy for many generations. Frank Dupree, happy birthday to you.
Happy
man.
birthday, Mr.
Thank you
Dupree.
for tuning
And
in.
if I may add, with all due respect, one of the most beautiful daughters that have ever been in the Canal Zone.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, and anyone else that we missed, happy birthday to you all. And of course, you can't have a happy birthday wish without the Panama Murga music. So enjoy, guys, and salute to everybody. Happy birthday.
Salute.
Yeah, that was, that
Love
that,
it,
that,
man.
that kazoo was fun, man. But when Dave sent me that one, I was like, yeah, man, this is definitely a Panama happy birthday for sure. So again, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel SCN Canal Zone on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@ I don't know why they do that. That's youtube.com/ and then the @ sign SCN Canal Zone. But definitely go in there, check it out, sign up, subscribe, please. It gives us a lot more push with YouTube to put it out there to
Let's
get the
that
word out to
Canal
more and more
Zone,
Zonians to join us on the show here.
Right,
So
because we truly talk Canal Zone. That's it. And
that's what it is. That's what it is. And the cool thing about what we do here, for those of you that haven't joined us in the past, is we're talking to a lot of Zonians that live that experience, because we've all figured out that growing up in the zone, we took it for granted. Like most things, it was just there. And
I know
you look
some of us
back now
couldn't
and
wait
realize-
to get to the States,
Right. And now, if you can go in hindsight, it's like, heck no, I would have never left.
I would have never left. I
You
know.
know,
They
so-
never gave it up. I would have been a cop. Easily.
Indeed,
6
indeed.
kids. Easily.
Without a doubt. Well, absolutely.
You're welcome,
Without
Mr. Dupree. We love you very
Yeah,
much,
for
sir.
sure. Thank you so much for always tuning in and saying hello. But yeah, it's the Canals, and we took it for granted. And so, when we come on here, we have these shows like, we talked about Coach Holland coming on. That was a great show. Coach Bales from Japan walking around in his son's backyard on a Saturday morning on his phone, talking to the Canal Zone here on a Friday night live. We had Coach Houston on, right? We had Coach Holland down in Panama. All of them
Houston
on.
was at an airport, by the way, doing
He
that.
sure was, man. He took the time to sit in a chair there, and a bunch of people walking around behind him and everything. But hey, it was fun, man. Everybody got to say hello. People chimed in that played football for these guys and share their stories and their memories of how these guys changed their lives or had an impact on their life. And we've done so many of those shows.
I know, we've had some great shows, Willie.
Al
We really
Sprague.
have.
That was
Wow, we've had some
phenomenal show.
incredible interviews. The Railroad was good. The Ciceros were good. The football, like you said, was good. Jerry Curtis. I mean, it's endless.
Jerry Curtis was a lot of fun too. And
Yeah,
then, like you said,
endless.
Aska with George Call.
George Call, I
rock and
love
roll
having
show was
him
fun.
on. We should do a
We are for sure ready for a
music,
one.
and then maybe get everybody to like for me, music in the Canal Zone was everything, right? Even until today, I love music. But,
Right.
like for me, the best music was always either at the spinning club in Diablo, because you had the raw bands playing there,
Yeah.
right? And then you had like Wolf playing at Summit, and
Yeah.
those guys were like
Mark Ross's dad.
Mark Ross's. Those guys were like the Rolling Stones. They were that good. I mean, those guys were really good.
Yeah.
Not in popularity, but in the type of music they played. And
It was fun to watch your friends to be able to play a guitar like that. Wow, that's really cool.
Oh yeah, and then another great spot. It was the generations above me, but they always had this summer concert called Toe Jam. I don't know if you guys out there remember that. Maybe Steve Talkerman and those guys went through that, but that was like a all day jam at the Balboa Stadium with all
Like
the
a Monsters
Canals-
of Rock kind of thing.
Yeah, with all the Canal Zone bands
Okay.
and the Panamanian bands playing, and it's like a Woodstock,
Right?
So, any you guys out there want to leave us a comment on what your favorite place to see live music in the Canal Zone, let us know about it. For me,
Yeah.
Spinning Club.
Absolutely. Jim's asking, were I able to get my CD reader? I did. I got it right here. Check this out, guys. Here's something interesting. If you buy a computer today, it's rare that computers, either desktops or laptops, it's rare that they bring a disk drive anymore.
No, you got to buy separate, right?
It's
right.
either
I
a
got
flash
mine
drive
right
or
here
you just
somewhere.
download everything. So,
Yep.
Jim and I were talking on the phone the other day, and he's got, some great stuff, some pictures and images and film and whatnot. And he goes, I've got it all on CDs. And I was like, well, gee, I don't know how to take it down. And I went on Amazon. I was like, well, let me see if they got an external, CD DVD drive. And so I got this, Jim. This thing cost me $9.
Yeah, I
It
got
was
one. I got one. Yeah.
unbelievable. $9, man. And I plugged it in. It works great. I was able to put DVDs in, watch movies and
Yep.
download content and save stuff and burn CDs. So yes, Jim, thank you for that. And I'm glad you asked me about that because I have some old CDs of some music, especially I like some classical music that I used to listen to a lot, and I got nowhere to listen to it because I got no CD players anymore.
Classical.
Yeah, I do. I've got some,
You've been
I've got
hanging
an
out with me too long, brother.
I have an interesting range of music, man. I really do. Sometimes people are like, "What, really? You listen to that?" I was like, "Yeah."
No, classical's good.
But,
It relaxes.
But yeah, thank God we had that. And what a dude, $9. Holy shit, that's pretty good, man. So.
Well,
But,
Willie, let's talk some more reunion before we
Yeah, no, of
check
course.
out here. But listen, guys, we've already talked about Thursday's events, Friday's events, Saturday's events, guys. The 16th annual pool party. Now, this is a
Yes.
renowned pool. You don't want to miss that. That is
Nope.
that is an incredible event. But I'm going to tell you from experience, you do need to have one of the three things, or all three: hats, long sleeve shirts, and
Yes.
sunblock.
Oh my!
Do
dear.
not play with that sun, man, because you will pay the price.
You're in the water. You're in the pool. So when it starts to get hot, you just dunk yourself in the water so you feel like, okay, I'm fine, right? And that's it. But then it ends at what, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or whatever, and you get out of the pool and you go back to your room and you realize, oh boy.
Yeah, and when
was
it's
not a
free
good
beer,
idea.
you're not feeling
Yes,
anything.
Absolutely.
Just drinking away with all your buddies. Oh, around for
Yep.
the whole crew, That's
No
so
doubt.
That's so good. So you don't want to miss
definitely
that, guys.
Cover up. I always
Yeah.
wear a long sleeve. Listen, they have all those what do they call them? Those dry fit long sleeve Zonian shirts.
Yes,
Buy
yes,
one of
those are
those
the
and
ones you
wear
wanna wear.
that. That's
Those are
actually
the ones you
quite
wanna wear.
comfortable when you're in the water.
Yeah, those are
right?
the ones you want to wear.
Yeah,
And then-
totally. Because we got to
Yeah.
cover up, man. The
On
sun's not good.
Saturday, before the pool party starts, guys, because the pool party starts, I think it's at 2. There is a annual luncheon, and I
Yeah.
believe that's when they give the awards for the golf tournament or not? No, it was also Thursday.
No, they usually do that right after.
Right
The golf
afterwards?
tournament has its own lunch afterwards or something.
Got it,
and
got
they
it.
usually do there.
So this is the annual luncheon at the Gateland Ballroom. You don't want to miss it again. Have a good meal with all your Zonians, and I think that's when they have the speaker come on. The
Yes.
the guest speaker.
Correct.
And it's the lady Tribaldos who did the book on January 9th event in Panama.
Correct. On
But
the
the
January 9th riots.
Zonian perspective, not the patriotic Panamanian, the
We'll call it the Panamanian version.
Zonian version.
Correct.
Zonian version. And she's one of the ones that has said that the younger generation in Panama is really taking to the Canal Zone history and to the new perspective that she is putting out about what happened in that day. Right.
If you think about what went on again, like we were talking about briefly earlier, where this all started around 1996, 1997, was when China started to get that influence and coming into Panama.
Right when
and
that port
invest in
port
Panama.
deal. Yeah.
Right.
When that port
And
deal
so
happened.
if you think about that, you fast forward to like 2023, 2024 is when things started to kind of maybe slow down a little bit. And certainly in the last 6 months, they've slowed down dramatically. But you're talking about almost an entire generation that has been devoid of that Canal Zone story or that memory.
That's a great point, Willie. That
You
is
know?
a great point. That's probably why, right there.
Yeah, for sure. And
'Cause
so
even
suddenly
the
you
mayor
have
of
this
Panama-
newfound opening up of this information, and these people are like, wow, I didn't realize this. And you come to understand why there's, why there is that nostalgia and why there's a lot of people that have said, hey, we wish the United States had never left. And you
Yes.
start to wonder why, and now you're seeing it.
Now you see, Willie, the mayor of Panama, right when he came on, one of the things he said that caught my attention was before he jumped into this beautification project was he said kudos to the Canal Zone community for how clean our streets were, how clean and organized the Canal Zone. That's what he remembered the most.
Yeah.
And what's one of the reasons he says, I want to make Panama clean like that.
Right.
And he has
Right.
embarked, and what a tremendous journey to clean up that city.
I mean, if you
Not
think
that it
about it,
needed,
guys,
but he's doing a great job.
100%, and it's fantastic what he's providing and giving to that country, because that in itself is a source of pride.
Yeah,
And
well,
if you go back to standing up on the admin steps and looking towards the clubhouse, looking towards Balboa Stadium, okay, it was beautiful. Okay, you had that
yeah.
row of trees, you had the grass was cut, the roads were paved. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful sight. And so that's the point that he's talking about. He's like, why can't we have that? And why don't we strive for that? And make this a place that people want to come and see and smile just being here and feeling like it's a great place to be, and it's an inviting place and welcoming. And certainly the zone was. It was a place that, I mean,
It was very clean, that's for sure.
it was beautiful. They had it painted. Remember, I mean, every so often they go around painting the houses, all that stuff. I mean, they were actively. That was part of the Zonian policy to keep it looking good. You didn't have to request that. That was part of the gig. Your house was painted every so many years, and that's just the way it worked. That was part of keeping that Canal Zone image, that American, Norman Rockwell neighborhood going. That was.
We were going to do a show, then we canceled it for the spillway, and one of the stories was that, and the guys that had houses in the Canal Zone can testify to this, but you would get a budget to remodel your house. They would say, you got $1,000,
Right.
how you want to spend it? You say, I want it painted, or I want new windows, or whatever. They would give you a budget for you to remodel your place. I thought that was really cool.
There's a lot of things that I think even most Zonians didn't realize they had as privileges down there. Do you know, and I read this in one of the Spillway newspapers, that you could rent those islands out there in Gatun
Yes,
for
at the lake.
$12 a month. $12 a month? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but you
own
were
an island.
yeah, but you were dodging crocodiles left and right too.
Nonetheless, just the fact that you could do that to me was phenomenal for such a cheap price.
Hey, we used to swim in those freaking waters, man. I'm surprised none of us got munched by. Well, caimans are pretty small. We could probably fight those off, but the crocs.
Well, but I kind of wonder if that wasn't part of, and we learned from what was it, Kevin Barsness? Remember, his dad was part of that Bush Patrol, and there was two components to Bush Patrol. One was the jungles, and the other was the water. Right, they had the boats and whatnot, and so I wonder if there wasn't an active program to control the population, because we never heard of those issues like now, where they even Andrew every so often on his canal
Panama,
cruises.
it's out of control.
That's
Crocodiles
what I'm saying.
everywhere.
That's what
around
I'm talking
the canal.
about. I don't think that has always been the case.
No, there had to be, because remember, the only place that I remember there being crocs was over by the swing bridge underneath.
Yes, I remember there, and also that road that we would go right before the police lodge. When you go downhill,
Chiva. Yeah, definitely. That was crocodile heaven there. Because wasn't the dump out there? It wasn't the.
It was.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's probably
That was
why.
the same place. You took that road, and you police lodge was there, and then you kept going. You go to the dump.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that. You don't
my
want to swim
dad.
in those
My dad
places.
was at one point was in charge of the police lodge, and he was telling me at one point they had so much liquor there that they couldn't sell. Right, because the police lodge also was a place you could buy liquor. One of the things that the police did to raise funds, for all their community organization and stuff, was run the police lodge as a nonprofit, but to generate funds to then use for other things.
Yeah.
And so they would buy liquor and in essence act as a Class 6 store, as a liquor store, and you could buy booze there. But they had all this booze they couldn't sell, and my dad ended up selling it at cost. And they're like, "Why? Is it just to bring cash into the place, man?" Because I guess the liquor salesman had come in and just said, "Hey, man, you buy 2 cases of this, we're going to throw in a couple of these." And they're like, "Yeah, great deal." And so they end up with all this booze that they can't sell. And so there was a point when in the zone there, you were buying all the liquor at cost for almost a month, man. There was a lot of cheap liquor flowing around the zone, man. But that was that police lodge. That was a cool place.
That was a cool place. All you guys that grew up with the police fathers didn't know, but if you didn't, that's what we had. A lot of Christmas parties, birthday parties,
and a lot of people had never even
4th of
heard of it.
July.
They're like, "Dude, you drive by that place all the time." No, I had no idea.
Yeah, it was off Chiva to the right there, up a little bit, and then
right before you get on that long straight to go to Pedro Miguel.
Yep.
you'd make that right and turn
Oh,
off
that
there.
golf, that three hole, three par,
Yes.
three hole. What's a three par golf
the
course?
par
Yeah.
three.
Par
hole.
three. That's what it's called. Par three.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. You know what they had there? Jerry Curtis and I would always stop there. They had shark meat. That's what they would sell there.
Oh, how about
So we
that?
go there and get crystals and eat shark meat.
Uh-huh.
Or was it crocodile meat? I don't remember now.
Well, you know,
Maybe it was crocodile meat.
It could be.
But it was like
It could be.
these little nuggets. You would get there and just drink your cristal, eat that stuff. $3.
Mhm.
Who's calling us? I mean, we're tweaking Radio Bamba, Willie. We're supposed to be a short show. But listen, guys, the reunion. We'll continue to inform you on the reunions. But let's get through the days. So Saturday, we're still talking about Saturday. So we already talked about the pool party. Again, the museum collection will be on Saturday again. This time from 10 to 5, not 10 to 6. So I guess that's when they start breaking down, right? Because they're not open on Sundays.
Correct.
Vendors are also available, and then that night they got the big dance. You know, that's the biggest event. You don't want to miss that last event on Saturday night.
Yeah.
It's because it's truly the reunions. Well, you guys said get dressed up, go there, dance.
Sure.
I think this year they're going to have a dinner there as well.
Mm.
So yeah. That's something you don't want to miss. And then Sunday, guys, they have also Saturday, you don't want to miss. They have the Catholic Mass from 4 to 5 p.m. A lot of people go to that. They also have bingo. They have bingos Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. No charge to participate. 2 to 4 p.m. at the Gateland Ballroom. That's a very popular ballroom, you guys, by the way. Gateland's where a lot of things happen there.
Yeah.
Then we also have the Murga Saturdays at 8 p.m. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the annual ball. And you don't want to miss that one. Get dressed up, look good, look at your best. Go there and represent. Okay, guys? And then Sunday is the short day. Vendors, they all break down that day, but they have the big despedida. It's a dance performance.
Now, is
And
that the people that are learning the dance the days before in that event? Are they the ones that do it, or is that like a formal performance?
These are the formal guys. The other one is just, to practice with people like us that don't. Well, I know how to dance típico, but a lot of other people don't. And it's just for you to learn. It's actually real easy for the guys. It's not.
I remember doing that in St. Mary's. Thank you very much. Oh, thanks, Mark. Appreciate you,
Hey,
brother.
Mark, right on, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. I thought that was you clapping because I told you I knew how to dance. Típico. All right. I haven't done that in a while, actually. Well, we're kind of busy here tonight. So anyway, so that's Sunday, guys. So that is the reunion. We will inform you guys again. Last thing. We'll inform you some more on the reunion so you guys can be ready.
Yeah,
and
we're going to talk about it throughout the next few weeks,
we
obviously.
really want to see that reunion prosper and become really good.
And don't forget, guys, also on that Sunday, that despedida, okay, it starts at 9:30. They open up. They have that dance and presentation, and they also have that despedida lottery. Okay,
Correct.
so
That's the one you don't want
get
to
your
miss,
tickets and stick around for that. Okay, the drawing will be held at despedida on Sunday morning. You must be present to win. Okay,
Yes.
so if
All
you
right.
buy your tickets and you don't show up, appreciate the donation. But if you want to win and take home the cash, you got to be there. So make sure you show up because hey, your reunion may be paid for, man. Okay, so.
Yep. Let's go through some of these comments, Willie, and and see.
Yeah, no, we've had a jam-packed show, man. We've had a lot of chat.
A lot of it. We thought it was gonna be just 1 hour. Willie and I just this week. Unfortunately, I had a lot of issues to deal with.
So we've got let's see here, Garrett. Speaking of music, anyone recall Leroy Lewis on the Hilton Bombero Bar giant pipe organ? What happened to that instrument? That's an interesting one there. That's we may have to do a more of a music history. The music history we've done in the past is our music history, late 70s, early 80s, which is more rock and roll bands, of course. But, obviously the reunions have always been very popular with Lucho and that music and whatnot. So there's
Parranda.
some,
Did they call that Parranda music, Willie?
probably. What do you call it?
La
It is
Parranda.
gringo.
I think there was
There
an
you
album
go.
called La Parranda. I think
Parranda.
that's what they ended up calling that kind of music.
Yeah, definitely.
Did I say Parranda?
He did.
Did I say that?
Yeah,
No.
listen, Capira,
My
Ricky
mom
from
will be
Capira.
calling me tonight. Ricky!
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. ¿Qué le pasa?
You're embarrassing me.
Crocs sunning on the Miraflores Dam. Yeah, right on. Heck yeah. That was the other cool. That's one thing we need to do is this at some point this summer. Do one of those summer shows or summer jobs. What was your
Oh,
summer
yes,
job
yes,
in the
we've
zone?
talked
'Cause
about it.
everybody had cool summer jobs.
Yes.
I remember, who was it? Wasn't it your sister talking about working in the locks?
Reina, yeah. John
Yeah.
Canzero had a great one. I had a good job too, man. We all had great jobs. Those were the
Exactly,
best,
you know.
man.
My summer jobs were at Copa Airlines, but that was still cool.
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
that's
It wasn't
still
at the
good,
airport, it was in
yeah.
the office, but it was cool. Vern's talking about renting one of those islands about 2 miles from Gatun Locks. Water was always calm when we went. Yeah,
Win-win, yeah, for
That's cool.
sure, man.
that's cool. But what a great gig, man! That's again part of living in a zone. You get to rent an island, man. You know, and
Well,
it's
you
your
can even
island.
rent the boats to go to the islands because that's what we
Right.
would do with all our friends. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so cool for sure. Pika Pika when Adams. Listen, the Police Lodge was a iconic place, man. That in itself, there's probably some stories, and we've often said that there are some shows that may be for the owl show because fun, but in other ways.
Pico because it was out in the jungle, man.
Yes,
That's
it
why
was.
there's a lot of
Yes, it
insects out
was.
there, man.
It was.
Yeah, and our
Hiroko-
insects weren't mess around insects. We
No,
had some
Hiroko, I think wasn't Hiroko on the West Bank?
Rodman, across
Yeah.
from Rodman.
Correct.
It's got a
Correct.
different name now, but it's one of the more elite golf courses now.
Yes, absolutely is. Vern said, never saw a croc in the lake in the 60s, 70s. My understanding is that the Canal Company had a crew that hunted. Yeah, that's what I thought, because I don't recall ever hearing that. And they would not have allowed a cayuca race in croc-infested waters.
Well, they had the caimans for sure, the caimans.
Yes. And those, but I think they were smaller. And
They were
I think
smaller,
the
yeah,
Panama
yeah.
caiman was a small one anyway. But yeah.
But we thought there was croc there. We never
Yeah.
knew that.
Well, right now
I don't
there is,
recall
because-
anybody saying, there's no crocs there. Well, forget about it.
Listen, there's a river. I think it's near Rio Abajo or somewhere that in Panama City that is infested with
Yes,
frogs.
and out in the ocean,
I mean,
too.
Hundreds of them are in there, man.
Yes, I seen that.
Right in the middle of the city. It's absolutely bizarre, man. It doesn't fit, in that, because it's not near the jungle. It's not on the edge of this. It's right in the heart of the
It's
city.
right where the ocean and the rivers come together.
Yes.
Right there, 'cause there's a lot of food for them to eat coming down.
Heck
So
yeah.
that's where they're hanging out.
Yeah, that's a crazy. But I think that's where that whole notion that crocs in the canal. But like I said, I don't recall ever hearing anybody talk about crocs in the zone.
Or getting munched by one, no.
Yeah, no, certainly
That's what I'm
not,
saying. That's
not that at
amazing.
all.
We
you know.
swam in those waters.
Yeah, that reminds me that we're about due for a sabor.
Another
Sabor Patrol.
food things. Yeah. God, we
Yeah.
got so many good
We
shows coming
definitely
out,
due
man.
for one of those, man, because for sure. But either way, again, the reunion is around the corner, guys. So everybody get ready for it. If you haven't, visit the Pan Canal Society. Get your membership up to date. All of that good stuff. Get ready for that reunion. It's right around the corner, guys. And just another. You know what? Here's the different way you can kind of tell time or track time is it's 3 shows away. Our Friday night shows. There's 3 more of these, and we're at the reunion, and it is literally around the corner. So definitely, guys, be ready to check that out. But nonetheless, this is that time we try and we gun for about an hour and a half, and I think we've actually, Ricky, I think we did a pretty good job of that. So either way,
Easy when it comes to the Canal Zone, just to chit chat and talk and talk.
it
and
is.
talk and
All
talk
we've been
and
doing is
talk.
talking, and in all honesty, we ad-lib most of this.
No, not all of it. We do our practice, but we don't practice our banter, obviously.
No.
But we do
Well, I mean, we
practice
said
our
we were going to talk
subjects,
about the reunion,
our topics,
okay?
yeah.
And then we said, okay, we'll pull up some reunion stuff. I'll pull up that PDF and look at it. But Ricky just started reading events on there, and we just kind of ran with
Took
it.
off, man. Well, we needed a show like this. We both had, like I said, we were both incredibly busy this week. But next
This
week
is
we're
really
gonna
kind
have
of
a
how we
great show.
started, Ricky. If you recall.
Yeah, just
This was really
bantering.
the way we used to do it first.
No
it's just
idea this was gonna be this.
banter and talk and say, hey, you remember this and you remember that, and so and it always helps having
The comics.
great background music like this. This is Mark
Yep.
Cicero's Panama Days tune. Great tune.
Favorite
He's
song.
got a lot more tunes out there now, so check him out. It's Mark Cicero CZ. Okay, because there's another Mark Cicero out there that whatever. But you know,
Cool last name,
great
man,
tunes.
Cicero.
Mark Cicero is not the singer. Don't confuse that. He doesn't sing these songs, but he is a prolific writer. He comes up with these great tunes, great
Composer.
lyrics, and they're from the heart, man. You hear this song and you just, those words mean something to everybody, man. And it's
That's my favorite part. Living live with my Zonian friend. That's what we're doing right now, guys. We're
right?
living
That's
live
exactly
with our
what we're
Zonian
doing,
friends.
is living life with our Zonian friends.
Love you guys, man. Thank
So-
you, thank you, man.
Now, don't forget, guys, next week we're going to the Atlantic side. Our friend Vern Couturier, who's saying goodnight right now, will be joining us on stage talking about what life was like on the Atlantic side. Heck, we're just going to learn what the name of the roads were. I don't even know what those were, you know? But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Vern, thank you so much for doing this. Very much appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us and teach us what life was like on the other side. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Excited for that. Again, more reunion coverage. It's around the corner, guys. So I'm excited to see you guys at the reunion. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Ricky's going to be able to join us, but nonetheless, he'll join us Friday night, on the air as we do our show, wherever that ends up being. So thanks again, everybody. Appreciate you guys taking the time to join us. Thanks for buying us some beer, you guys out there. And, I'm looking forward to another great reunion right around the corner. But Ricky, man, help me get the weekend started. Get us out of here, brother.
Yes, guys, thank you. Like always, I'm very grateful, as well as Willie, speaking for Willie, for all your comments, all your participation. God, we just really, really love doing this for you. Every week I tell you the same thing, but it comes from my heart. We really, really love doing it. Thank you. See you next week. Promise you another good show.
Take care, everybody. Cheers.